The White House was asked about the jobs number earlier in the week, and the spokesperson did say we do expect some to cool. Your reaction to the print?
Well, it's good to be here, Carl. You know, there's a lot of encouraging news in this report today. On the job side, we saw at 315,000 jobs. You know, we never look too much at 1 month, but if you look over the last quarter, there's about 375,000 jobs a month average. That is down from earlier in the year at 500,000 or 600,000 jobs, but still a very solid pace. And I think the big encouraging sign in this report is on the labor force. So we saw the largest increase in labor force participation so far this year. Prime age labor force participation, that's among working age Americans, is now at its highest level, save a couple of months before the pandemic, that we've seen in a decade. Women's prime age labor force participation now higher than pre-pandemic levels. So we're seeing people come back into the labor market. That's the kind of thing that we want to see. So a lot of encouraging signs here in the report.
What do you think is driving participation, if in fact we're starting to make some real headway? Is it about COVID restrictions falling? Is childcare getting easier? Is it about perhaps gas prices coming down, make it easier to commute, or some mix?
I think it's a combination of things. I think that we've seen because of the strength of the labor market, we're seeing job openings and job opportunities that Americans can get access to that they haven't in the past. I think that the decline in, as you pointed to, energy prices and particularly gas coming down. Today we hit the 80th day in a row that gas prices are down about $1.20. So as we move from the summer season into the fall driving season, that provides some relief. And I think that we are moving into a school year where there is more confidence and more certainty around the ability to plan in an environment where, we still have to deal with COVID. We still have to take on those issues. The new boosters that were announced are going to be a big part of that. But I think there's more confidence in the ability to plan around family and care responsibilities. I think all of those things together are creating a dynamic of sustained and steady progress in the labor market. And that, as I said, that labor force, what we want to see is more people getting into the labor force, more people getting jobs with higher wages. And this is certainly an encouraging report in that respect.
Do you think, though, that the Fed is working against you in that goal? Because as they work to tame inflation, one of the focuses would seem to be on wage inflation, Brian, and it would seem to mitigate perhaps your hopes that you just outlined.
Well, look, I think on the wages side, you saw, wages come in at 0.3% monthly. That's a hair under 4% on an annualized basis. And obviously, that's something that we and the Fed will continue to keep an eye on over the course of months. But I think that we are where we are in this economy, which is in a transition. And what we want to see is a transition from a very strong recovery to that period of more stable growth. And I think that today's data is another indication that the strength of the labor market is one important element of that, because if we can expand labor force participation and get more people in to the labor market while seeing solid wage gains, sustainable wage gains, then that's the kind of transition that we want. That's the kind of transition that we want to see.
Right. Listen, the numbers are strong. We've made back all the 22 million jobs that were lost during the pandemic. We have a 3.7% unemployment rate, up a couple of ticks, but the participation rate is up. And yet, a majority of Americans, when polled, voters, when polled, would not hold your administration to a high standard, would not say that your administration has done a particularly good job on the economy. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, look, for all the progress we've made, we have a lot of more work to do. Obviously, the cost issues and price issues, inflation challenge is one that is affecting people around the world, but affecting Americans here at home. And that's why what you'll see out of this administration and our president is a focus on doing everything we can to bring those prices down. I think that's what the American people want to see. I think that you're seeing that in gas prices coming down and providing some welcome relief. We're seeing at least some indications of easing on pricing, for example, in the logistics and transportation sector as well. But we're going to stay at this. And importantly, we have now tools that we can implement over the course of the next couple of months in the context of the legislation that we passed this past month with respect to building out semiconductor capacity, bringing down healthcare costs, expanding clean energy manufacturing in the United States. We have those tools to deploy over the course of the next couple of months, and we hope that we'll be able to demonstrate in practice and in real-world terms the impact that can have on families and communities and on easing price pressures.